Have you ever wondered why some people and some organizations are just way more innovative, more influential, and more profitable than others? Why do some command such incredible loyalty? Well, today we're diving into a powerful idea from Simon Sinek's amazing book, Start With Why. Trust me, it's a framework that might just change the way you see everything.
This quote right here, this is the whole shebang. And to really truly get just how powerful this is, we're going to jump back in time to solve a fascinating puzzle from the early 1900s. A puzzle that, honestly, holds the key to this entire idea.
So, the scene is set for one of the greatest races in human history, the race to be the first to achieve powered, controlled flight. And, on paper, there was a clear, undeniable winner.
Okay, so if you were a betting person back at the turn of the 20th century, you would have put all your money, I mean all of it, on one man. This guy had every single advantage you could possibly imagine. His name was Samuel Pierpont Langley.
I mean, look at this. Langley had a $50,000 grant from the War Department, which was an absolute fortune back then. He worked at the Smithsonian, was a professor at Harvard. He put together a dream team of the best minds money could find. The New York Times followed his every move. And then, way over in Dayton, Ohio, you had Orville and Wilbur Wright. They had, well, none of that. Their entire project was paid for with the profits from their little bicycle shop. Not one person on their team even had a college degree. They were complete and total unknowns. And yet, on December 17, 1903, it was the Wright brothers who took to the skies. Langley, after his own attempts failed, he just quit. Days after their success, he was out. So the big question, the million-dollar question, is why? What did the Wright brothers have that Langley, with all his money and all his brains, didn't? Well, the answer, according to Sinek, lies in this beautifully simple but incredibly profound idea he calls the golden circle. He found this pattern in how all the great, inspiring leaders and organizations in the world think, act, and communicate. Okay, so the golden circle has three parts. Right in the middle, the bullseye, that's your why. This is your purpose, your cause, your core belief. It's the whole reason you even exist. The next ring out is your how. These are the specific things you do to bring your why to life. And that outer layer, that's your what. The results, your products, your services, what you do for a job. And here's where it all clicks. See, most people, most organizations, they communicate from the outside in. They tell you what they do, maybe they tell you how they do it, but they rarely get to the why. But the inspired leaders, they flip the whole thing on its head. They start from the inside out. Langley was chasing a what? Be the first in flight, get famous, make a fortune. But the Wright brothers, they were driven by a why. They believed that if they could figure out this flying machine, it would change the world forever.
Okay, but this is where it gets really cool. The golden circle isn't just some clever communication trick. Nope, it's actually rooted deep in the biology of the human brain. Our brain is literally built in layers that map perfectly to this model. That outer part, our neocortex, that's our what brain. It's the rational, analytical part that handles language. But deep inside, the limbic brain, that's our why brain. It's responsible for all our feelings, things like trust and loyalty. And get this, it's where all of our decision-making comes from. But, and this is the kicker, that part of the brain has zero capacity for language.
So you see, this isn't just a hunch, it's straight-up biology. When you communicate your what, you're talking to the analytical part of the brain. Sure, people can understand all the facts and figures you throw at them, but it doesn't actually drive their behavior. But when you start with why, you're speaking directly to the limbic brain. You're talking to the decision maker. This is where gut decisions come from. You know that feeling when something just feels right, even if you can't really explain it in words? That's your limbic brain, and you get there by starting with why. So this biological connection is exactly what builds those powerful feelings of loyalty and trust. To make this crystal clear, Sinek uses a brilliant analogy. He says business is just like dating. Imagine a guy on a first date. He sits down and just starts listing his whats. It's basically a verbal resume. It's completely uninspired and, let's be honest, it sounds a little desperate, right? Now imagine he tries again, but this time he starts with his why. He talks about his purpose, his passion. Yeah, the big house and the nice car, they're still there, but now they're not the reason to be with him. They're just the tangible proof of a life driven by purpose. I mean, it's a no-brainer, isn't it? The first pitch is a transaction. The second one, that's a connection. We aren't drawn to a list of features. We're drawn to a sense of belief and purpose.
And this taps into a fundamental human need. We all want to belong. So when a company clearly communicates their why, and we believe what they believe, their products become symbols of our own identity. That's why people will stand in line for 6 hours for a new iPhone. It's not just about the phone, it's about what being an Apple person says about them. They don't buy what Apple does, they buy why they do it.
Okay, this all sounds amazing, but how do you actually put it into practice? Well, Sinek offers this simple, really memorable filter for making decisions that are aligned with your purpose. He calls it the celery test.
So picture this. You're at a dinner party and everybody is giving you advice for your business. And these are all successful people telling you about what worked for them, all the latest trends.
One person says you gotta get M&Ms. Another one swears by rice milk. A third person tells you Oreos are the secret to their success. So you go to the supermarket and you buy it all. Now, your shopping cart is full, but it's a total mess. Nobody looking at your cart has any idea what you actually believe in.
But what if you started with why? Let's say your why is to only do things that are healthy and natural. Now, when you go to the store, you know exactly what to do. You grab the celery. Maybe you think about the rice milk. But you definitely walk right past the M&Ms and the Oreos. It's not that it's bad advice, it's just not the right advice for you. Your why becomes the filter for every single decision.
This is how you earn trust. When you consistently pass the celery test, when your whats are always proof of your why, that's when you achieve authenticity. It's how a company like Disney builds so much trust that parents will show any of their movies to their kids sight unseen. We trust them because we know what they believe. And in the end, that's what this entire game-changing idea really comes down to. People don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. For leaders, for companies, and for every single one of us, the path to inspiring others really begins with answering that one simple but incredibly powerful question.
If you like this video, consider subscribing to the channel and let me know in the comments what other content you'd like to see here. The link to purchase this book is below in the description. Thank you and see you next time.